Season 25's mid-season update is just around the corner, dropping on June 24th, and EA gave me early access to the changes that are coming in the mid-season update from Legend Reworks, new game modes, the events, and more. So let's not waste any time, and let's look at all the changes because they're pretty awesome. So let's start with the new Legend Reworks, because Wattson has had a huge buff to her kit, completely reworking the way it's designed. First up with her passive ability, she's now 50% faster when consuming ultimate accelerants, which is a nice buff, and also her passive shield regen has been buffed. It's been doubled, so now it heals 2 shields per second instead of 1. Very good. But the main changes are for her tactical, the perimeter security. They've done a lot here. So first of all, they've increased the fence node HP to 50. It used to be 25, so each node has double the amount of health. They've also reduced the tactical cooldown from 15 seconds down to 4 seconds. Every 4 seconds, you'll get another fence node cooldown, so you can place these much more often. If you move position, you'll have most of your fences off cooldown, and you can fully set up in the next spot. Also, fences now slow sliding and jumping enemies. So if you jump over the fence or try and slide under the fence, it will still slow you. And it will also consume cooldowns on Ash's dash and Sparrow's double jump. So if Ash gets hit by the fence, it will consume her tactical cooldown, reducing her movement significantly, stopping her from being able to dash away. That's really powerful. Also, they gain a new feature. When a fence is placed across a door, it will electrify the door, and that means the door will stun enemies if people open it or try and kick the door. So it allows you to completely fortify a building. They also removed the effect where doors would explode if they're opened into the line of a fence, which is obviously good because now the doors work in your favor. And the electrification of the door will end if the fence gets obstructed or the fence is removed, and it will restart when the fence is active again. So her tactical has been buffed to no end. And they've also changed her perks. First up, the Falling Stars perk, which would spawn arc stars every time your pylon intercepted incoming ordnance, is now integrated into her base kit. So her base ult will now spawn arc stars without the perk active. And they've added 2 new level 2 perks. The first one, Help is Here, gives you access to all support perks. So it replaces the Revive Expert perk and now gives you all support perks, including access to support bins, the faster revives with health regen, and gaining mobile respawn beacons with your teammates' banners. And then we get a new level 2 perk, the Ultimate Conductor, where any damage to enemies is converted into ult charge, and Nox will give a burst of 30% ult charge. It's basically the accelerator hop-up incorporated into a perk. Then the level 3 perks, we have a new Energized Healer perk, where she gains double small med healing. That's right, they've given this perk to Wattson, after removing it from the support perk. And then she keeps her Power Pylon perk, where you can double the ultimate HP, healing rate, and capacity. Next up, Vantage will be receiving some crazy improvements and a rework to her kit. Vantage mains rejoice because these changes are awesome. First of all, they shrank her upper body hitbox to better match her character model, but then we have her passive ability. First of all, you can now ping up to 3 enemies at a time to give the info to your team, and you can also now see the health bars of targeted enemies. And also, pinging an enemy will now reveal their position when further than 50 meters away instead of 100 meters. So enemies can be much closer to you for you to still be able to ping them and gain access to the information such as their position. But then we have a pretty nice rework to her Echo relocation tactical. First of all, Echo will now automatically recall after you jump to them, allowing it to be more seamless, and there's now a faster jump activation time. They've also increased the base and max distance that Echo can fly by an extra 10 meters. They've also integrated double jump into her base kit. Now what I think this is the improved double jump that was part of her level 3 perk, and it's just worded weird, or maybe there's a small chance that they've actually given Vantage a permanent double jump, so you don't even have to use the Echo location to access the double jump, and you can just use it whenever. It could be a misunderstanding. I think it is the first one, but I'll confirm it in the pinned comment. They've also reduced the time to redeploy your guns after jumping from 0.5 seconds to 0.2, so you'll be way quicker getting your gun out, and they've widened the FOV that Echo needs to be in to jump to. And they've even reworked her ultimate, the Sniper's Mark. First of all, they've integrated the ultimate reload upgrade into the base kit, so ultimate accelerants now give 4 bullets and are twice as fast. But they've also hidden the laser until Vantage shoots. So now when you're aiming your ultimate sniper at people, they will have no idea until you take your first shot, which is huge. You can now actually catch people off guard as Vantage and gather intel without revealing your position. And then what will happen is, once you shoot with Vantage's sniper, the laser will last for 15 seconds and the timer will refresh with each shot. So let's say you aim at someone, you shoot them, and you carry on aiming down sight, then the laser will now show where you are looking. But let's say you just switch back to your normal weapons, the laser will be gone again and it will be much harder for the enemies to know where you are. And they've adjusted the laser so it's now more representative of aim, just making it more accurate. I personally love this change. It might get annoying, we'll have to wait and see, but I think it's fair. We also have a bunch of new perks. First up, at level 2, we have the Controlling My Prey perk, which allows her to gain access to ring consoles and the zone overcharge. That is the Controller Legends perk. When standing in the zone, you gain an extra 25 shield. Very nice. And another new level 2 perk, the Improved Mark, where marked enemy icon is visible through walls, briefly highlights enemies, and reveals their health bar to your squad upon mark. So after shooting an enemy with your sniper, it will track them through walls, it will highlight their entire body and show their health bar to your squad. And for the level 3 perks, there's a tactical cooldown perk that reduces the tactical cooldown by 5 seconds, and a new sniper cover perk that adds a gun shield to Sniper's Mark to further protect you, as you see here. And we have more legend changes. We have the Ashe changes. Obviously, Ashe has been extremely dominant since her rework, and they want to slightly tweak her, but without reducing how much fun it is to play her, because her new dash is very powerful, but it's also really fun. So what they've done is they've decreased the cooldown of her dash from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, but they've removed the double dash charge. So you no longer have access to the level 3 Ghost in the Machine perk that gives you the second dash charge, but the dash cooldown is lower, so it's actually a buff without that perk. As for the tactical, they've slightly decreased the tether strength when pulling hard, like when using movement abilities. Let's say you're playing Ashe and you get tethered by an enemy Ashe, and you want to dash out of it, you won't be tethered as hard when using your dash. Now for her perks, they've basically moved her tactical perks over to level 3, so that they become dominant much later in the game, and they've moved the Dual Breach perk to level 2, so you can gain a second ultimate charge at level 2, and there's a new Charged Knock level 2 perk, where you gain HP regen on a knock. And like I said, the level 3 perks are now the Greedy Snare and Twin Snares perk that were previously in level 2. So I think some very refreshing changes, especially for Wattson there. Now we also have the brand new game mode. The Arena's Duels is coming to Apex in the mid-season. So on June 24th, Arena's Duels will be a new limited time Arenas variant, and this mode will allow you to chain 1v1 duels throughout a 5-minute match on a server of 30 players. So 30 players will be in one Arena's Duel game, and essentially what will happen is you will spawn in a random location on the map against one other player. Now you will have a mirrored kit, so you'll have the same weapons, and in this mode, healing and legend abilities will be turned off. So it's a true test of skill, and you'll have a short time to defeat that enemy, and this will gain you points on the leaderboard, and then you'll be cycled through and you will constantly face off different enemies and 1v1 for a total of 5 minutes, and that will place you in the leaderboard at the end of the game. So if you've managed to win the most 1v1s in the entire server of 30 players, then you will become first and be victorious. Your legend is also randomized in this mode, but as their abilities are turned off, it doesn't really matter. Now later on in the split, there will be a new version of Arena Duels where legend abilities will be turned on for a new twist on the Duels experience. So they're going to test 2 kind of variants of this mode and see what works best. So we'll have to see how that goes, but I'm excited. The new season also drops with, of course, another in-game event. And this was the information I got. So this is going to be a milestone event. It's going to run from June 24th all the way to July 15th. So it's a 3-week long event. It's called the Future Icons event, and here you can see a bunch of the skins. So we have these kind of school style skins. It's like the jocks on the left and the normal students on the right. We have a legendary skin for Rampart, a legendary skin for Crypto, a legendary skin for Horizon, and then we also have a legendary skin for Octane, Mirage, and Newcastle. Pretty cool skins. Nothing too crazy. Of course, there'll be legendary weapon skins to match. I think this is one of them for the Rampage. But the heirloom reward is going to be the Wattson prestige skin. So every event pack you open has a very low chance of dropping this. And it's this really awesome skin. I mean, they absolutely cooked with the skin. I can't lie. You can see the 3 variants there. You can see the second one has this kind of cap. They really love giving cat ears as well to Wattson. And it should come with a finisher and dive trail. I wasn't able to see that in the early access. It's probably in the trailer that they released, but as we're making this video early, I'll leave that for you to find. Now, we also have more gameplay changes and changes they have coming up along with rank changes. So first of all, we have some audio changes. Now, recently Apex has been allowing you to upload audio logs when prompted after there's been abnormal interruptions during your match, and this has allowed them to come up with a few decisions to make this split. They are going to be changing how some of the audio works. So for example, they've deprioritized the friendly zip lines, so enemies will always be played, and deprioritized non-threatening enemy footsteps, for example, body fall sounds or down sounds, to ensure that potential threats are always played, and they're experimenting with lowered volume / inaudible friendly footsteps when under significant threat. So we'll have to see how this works, actually fully muting your teammates' footsteps when there's a bunch of enemy fire and enemy footsteps and enemy abilities going on around you could definitely help. So keep us informed if this one works. And they've reduced the volume of hover tanks in Kings Canyon. Now, they had some notes about the ranked changes. It's mainly just how your ranks are displayed. So the rank tier display will now show the tier distribution per squad instead of per individual player. Ranked matchmaking for pre-made squads is done based on the highest RP value in the squad. This change will group all squad members, pre-made or otherwise, to show the entire squad based on the highest ranked tier in the squad. Essentially, when you see the rank distribution in your game, it will be more accurately displayed. And then the ladder champion dive trail, the reward, will be granted to all players that completed the ladder champion placement challenge in split 1. The dive trail will be accessible for all of this split. If players wish to retain access to the dive trail, they must complete the same challenge in the current split. So you'll get to enjoy that reward if you have it. As for the map rotations, we have Kings Canyon, World's Edge, and Broken Moon this split, and the mixtape maps, as you can see here. So there we go. That's all the changes that I was given early access to. That should cover the majority of in-game gameplay changes. As this video goes out, there's probably a trailer that shows a few more things off, but these are all the major changes. So let me know what you're most excited for, and I'm sure we'll have more coverage over the next few days about the new split. That's it from me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.